Alright, what's up, dudes? Welcome back to Duty's Daggers. I want to review the TRM Bulldog today. This is the newest offering release from TRM. Here's some other TRMs here. We got the Shadow and the Neutron 2 in the lizard skin textured titanium. This is my TRM collection. I used to have a matching Atom, which is the larger version of this. But I needed some money, so I ended up selling it because I like this version better. I like this. It's a little bit smaller, a little bit more my jam. So the Bulldog. This is pretty interesting because it is their second ever knife with the river lock or crossbar lock. It's just a crossbar lock with Omega springs. They call it the river lock. And it's the first time they've done it since the Shadow. Shadow is one of my favorite knives. It's got a lot of really cool detail. It's just an excellent design. If you want to see my full review on it, I would recommend watching it because there's a lot of really cool things about the Shadow you might not know if you've never owned one, or even if you have owned one, maybe, if you haven't looked closely at it. So the differences are, we have a hole now. It's smaller, different blade shape, different handle shape. Really the only similarity is has the crossbar lock. Now, I'm a big fan of TRM. They're made here in the USA, kind of a small shop, you know. They put out a surprising number of knives, though, you know, but they never stay in stock. They pretty much always sell out as soon as they drop. So they're not the size to where they're pumping out enough knives to where they're just sitting in stock. So they're kind of that fine balance of, you know, where the demand is more than the output that they're able to put out. But still, even though that is the case, it's pretty easy to get a TRM if you're just a little bit, what's the word? If you have some stick-to-itiveness, I guess. Follow their Instagram. They always announce their drops on there. And then you just go to their website at that time and buy the knife real quick before someone else gets it. The Shadows go out of stock really fast. The lizard skin titanium ones go out of stock really fast. You might catch like a micarta version of one of these. They might stick around a little bit longer. But yeah, those are the two most popular ones for sure. Now they are doing a titanium version of the Bulldog here pretty soon, which is awesome. So let's talk about it. I like this knife. I don't love it, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. If you're looking down from the top, you might notice that these two are very similar. The Neutron 2 and the Bulldog are extremely similar as far as just the overall shape. The handles are extremely similar. They're not exact, very similar. This choke-up spot is the biggest difference here. We have more of like a rounded in the G10 spot here. On the Neutron, it's more of just a flat spot. The blade shape is very similar. Not exact, but very similar. And it is an excellent blade shape. Really good. It's just excellent. It's good at everything. It's got a really low tip. Just enough belly to where, you know, if you need it, it's there. Excellent, sharpening choil area. Super slicey. Awesome. Now, speaking of sliciness, the Bulldog is going to have a thicker blade stock than all the previous TRMs. The Shadow, the Atom, and the Neutron 2 all have the same blade stock thickness, which is 89 thousandths. The Bulldog is at 119 thousandths. So a pretty big difference. I think a big enough difference to where you will notice this. Pushing through some thick cardboard, for example, this is going to pass through easier than the Bulldog. It just is, you know. Less friction, you know. You're pushing less material through a small space. The lesser one with the lesser material is going to pass through easier. So that's one reason I like the Neutron better. It's slicier. Now, I'm going to first say that the reasons I don't really like it, but then I'm going to give you some reasons why I think it's great. So stay tuned for that, because I don't think this is a bad knife. First reason, it's not quite as slicey as these other ones, and I like my knives to be slicey. Second reason, the crossbar lock is not my favorite deployment or locking mechanism. In fact, I think it's one of my least favorites. It's just as far as the deployment goes, it is not. You're never going to get a nice, really snappy deployment on a crossbar lock. There's some crossbar locks that are better than others. There's some that are decent, but they're never going to be just a nice, like, pow, like super snappy release from that closed position. You're never going to get it because there's no detent ball, there's no detent hole. The resistance you get is just from this notch in the tang kind of pushing that crossbar lock down before it can the blade can swing out. And that's not a crisp thing. It's inherently mushy. Now I did have some stronger springs put in this by my one of my friends, and that helped it a little bit. Not really noticeably, really though, just barely. It's just, put the strongest springs in here that you can find, and it's still not going to be great. It's just how it is. Now, you might say, well, the Shadow has a crossbar lock too. Yes, and I don't love the crossbar lock even on the Shadow, but on the Shadow, it must be the thumb stud placement as opposed to the hole placement. It's just easier on the Shadow to pop this blade out pretty easily. For some reason, maybe it's the size or the hole placement, I'm not sure. I have a hard time reverse flipping this blade out. If I kind of hold it loosely like I always do with other knives, no. If I kind of like grip the pocket clip and like really brace myself, I can get it to go. So I think it has to do with the size, hole versus thumb stud and the placement of that hole. On the Shadow, it's just easy. On the Bulldog, it's not. Now, can I thumb flick it? No, I can't. So there's that. A crossbar lock does have its benefits. It's a finger-safe locking mechanism. Really easy one-handed close. The close is great. And if you want to just roll it out, that's fine. When I was carrying this knife, I was just rolling it out, just like this, and that's fine. That's great. But while rolling out blades is fine, I do like to flick them on occasion. So there you go. On the close, it's great, nice and smooth. It's on bearings where the Shadow is on washers, so it is kind of a more free swinging crossbar lock. The Shadow doesn't really do that. It's more stiff. Very smooth for washers, but it's washers compared to bearings. So there's that. Kind of a nicer, smoother close for sure. Just the opening, the deployment is mushy, and that's not TRM's fault. That's just how crossbar locks are. Next, the choke up spot is, I think, a little small, and for my hand, it's fine. But if you had bigger fingers, fatter fingers, it's going to be a little small for you. You can see when I'm gripping up, my fingers, my skin of my fingers, pretty much touching that sharpened edge, and I haven't cut myself like that. But you almost kind of need to hold it like back here, like the tip of your finger. So there's that. It's a little small. It's just more roomy on the Neutron because you're not confined to that specific spot. You can kind of be anywhere up here, and it's fine because we don't have that tip of the G10 kind of holding your finger right in that specific area. The clip is great. I like TRM's clips. For some reason, the Neutron and I think the Atom clip too comes really high off the surface of the scale. Like it was bent like like up like this for some reason, and I had to kind of bend it down myself, and this is how I think it should look. This one just came nice and flat, just like this. I didn't do anything to it. Great clip, really good clip. What else? The clip works great. The G10 feels like nice quality. It's more of a peel ply, whereas the shadow is kind of a smooth. And I think I like the smooth better. I don't love the peel ply G10. It's fine on some knives, and it's fine on this knife. But just compared to the shadow, this just feels more luxurious, you know? You can kind of see like the texture in there. Just looks really nice, feels really nice. This is more just the peel ply. Big old backspacer. The shadow has no backspacers. This is kind of part of this G10. You can see the seam is there. So those are kind of the reasons I don't love it. Now here's some redeeming factors here. If you're a person that likes the Neutron 2 or the Atom, but you want something more heavy duty, this is it. You know, the crossbar lock is probably a heavy duty locking mechanism than just a regular liner lock. You got the thicker blade stock, so you have more toughness there. So it's kind of like like a beefier, more heavy duty Neutron 2 with a crossbar lock. And there are people that really like crossbar locks, definitely. So I'm just not one of them. So if you are one of those people that really likes crossbar locks and wants a beefier Neutron 2, this is perfect. You know, this is really good. And if I was just looking at this knife independently from these other knives, these other TRMs, if this was just like a one-off from TRM, I would think it was pretty good. But since I have like this, just kind of like a better version of it here, you know, it's just not as good to me. So, all in all, I think it's great. I think I wish it was a little more different than the Neutron 2. I wish it was kind of its own new thing, since it is so similar. I almost wish they had just done a liner lock with it. Or what if they did like a G10 and then a titanium frame lock side? That would have been really cool. I'm just not a crossbar lock guy, you know? I think the benefit you get from having a really nice, easy close doesn't outweigh the lack of a crispy deployment. I think a crispy deployment is more important than a nice, easy close, for me at least. It did great on the cut test, though, you know? Held an edge great. Their knives come always really, really sharp. Yeah, it's a cool little knife. It really is. I just like the Neutron 2 a lot better. So there you go. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're a crossbar lock guy. Maybe you'll love it. Just let me know what you think. I want to know if I'm off base here, if I'm the only one that kind of thinks it's too similar to the Neutron 2. Yeah, just let me give me your thoughts. That's it. Thanks for watching, dudes. I appreciate it. Like the video, please, before you leave. That helps me a lot. I'll see you next time.